Well, President Trump has meanwhile taken to Twitter to say his daughter Ivanka has been unfairly treated by the department store Nordstrom after they refused to stock her clothing line. Well, Nordstrom has said the decision is down to poor sales, not politics. Many have criticised Trump for failing to separate his presidency and his family businesses. Well, the White House, though, says he's simply responding to an attack on his daughter. Well, to get some more on this, our international affairs editor Doug Herbert joins me in the studio. Doug, good afternoon to you.
Afternoon.
Critics saying that despite his assurances, he's mixing up business and family.
Yeah, here we go again, right, with the he said, she said. And this is really one of those issues when you talk about the potential conflicts of interest under a Trump presidency, where it really is everyone sees in a sort of way what they want to see. And you just sort of laid it out in very broad terms. Is this simply, as the White House asserts, a president standing up for his daughter, whom he's very proud of, wants all the best success for her business? Or is it more than that? Is it actually an ethical threat, a threat to the separation of powers, for one, in a sense? He's meddling also in businesses, potentially. We have seen Donald Trump, to be sure, in the past, take to Twitter, his preferred social media platform, to not attack, but to go on the offensive against companies, often to try, but in the past it's been mostly because he says he's trying to save American jobs, he's trying to fight for American workers' interests, he's trying to get companies to relocate factories or not move them out of the U.S. So he's doing it in the interest of the American people. It's sort of the general collective interest from his standpoint. What's different here is this tweet is attacking a company, or seen as attacking a company, Nordstrom, specifically to defend his daughter's brand, his daughter Ivanka Trump's business. And this goes to the heart of the larger problem that we keep talking about time and again. It's the whole sense that Donald Trump is using both himself, his family members, they're using the White House as a sort of gravy train to enrich both themselves and their family interests. And that is unethical. Is it illegal? Technically, Donald Trump, as he himself has said on numerous occasions, he's not doing anything wrong in the sense that the President of the United States is exempt from the provisions under the federal U.S. law from conflicts of interest. He said, I can't have a conflict of interest. I'm president. And he's technically not wrong when he says that. But here's where you have the problem. So you have a lot of people and a chorus of people in the wings saying, you know what, he's right when he says that, but it looks bad, it's unbecoming, it's ethically improper for a president to use the President of the United States Twitter account to defend his daughter's business. And you had the House Minority Leader, Nancy Pelosi, saying just that. She said, I think it's inappropriate, but he's a totally inappropriate president, so it's totally, something that's in line with whom he is.
Well, away from Nordstrom, we're still waiting for some kind of answer on Trump's refugee ban. In the meantime, there has been some criticism, from inside Donald Trump's own camp.
Yeah, this is a hard one to follow as well, right? You first had the criticism, by the way, and I'll get to it in a second, has come from, as we've been reporting, his own Supreme Court nominee, Neil Gorsuch, who is basically been reported as qualifying in a conversation with a U.S. senator and confirmed by another aide to his confirmation process that he actually used these words, calling Donald Trump's criticism of a judge who's overseeing the review of that travel ban as he called him a so-called judge. And Neil Gorsuch said that using such language with respect to a federal judge, part of the U.S. justice system, one of the branches under the American Constitution, the judiciary, calling him a so-called judge is, quote, disheartening and demoralizing. Those were the two words. And what's interesting here is you have two views of this. Was Neil Gorsuch simply saying this in order to, perhaps it's part of a calculated strategy, assert his independence, show he's not joined at the hip to Donald Trump, he has his own mind and he's willing to speak it. He's facing potentially a tough confirmation hearing. But he also has critics who are saying, saying disheartening and demoralizing when you're talking about a president attacking a judge, he should have gone much further than that. He should have, this is an attack on the separation of powers. This is an attack on the American Constitution. They say he needs to both publicly and privately come out and really, in no uncertain categorical terms, slam Donald Trump for this. And he's going to probably be asked this in his confirmation hearing. It's going to be extremely interesting to see where this goes. It's not right now ending because Donald Trump himself has now come on the attack against the senator who reported that the Supreme Pick nominee said these remarks. Very tough to follow. You have to really go around in circles here. But it's creating a lot of tension at a time when there are a lot of people people fearing that Donald Trump is undermining, at best, the separation of powers in the American government and claiming a monopoly for sort of the executive branch, the presidency.
Doug, a complicated web being woven indeed there. Thank you very much for that update.